Hey, good morning to everybody. Welcome to another episode of Sigma Street Talk. And I saw that my last video, Street Fight, was doing pretty good, and I want to talk a little bit more. Let me get this right out there first of all. If you think I'm going to make this video, this video is going to be about me saying, oh, I'm a tough guy, fear me, I'm a street fighter. No, not at all. Actually, I'm going to tell you guys how I was scared. I was scared to ever punch somebody in the face. I'm going to talk about this because men are expected to fight. I know I was. My father taught me to box when I was like 3-4 years old. He bought me little gloves, I think, from G Fox or Caldor. I actually have pictures of him teaching me to box. I'll put that on the thumbnail. And we're expected to fight. And up until I was 15 years old, I was terrified to punch somebody. I would get I'd get in scraps because I'm a tall guy. My whole life I've gotten in a lot of fights. One, because I'm a tall guy. And two, because, I'm a liberal and I stand for causes, and I've always been like that. I remember like the class bully picking on girls, pushing girls down on the ice, like when I was in elementary school, and I went up to him and said, hey, you can't do that. And the dude just hauled off and punched me in the face and dropped me. And for the longest time, I was terrified to ever punch somebody in the face until I did. And it brings consequences with it. I'll talk about that to this day. I'll talk more about that. Okay, like I said, all guys, most guys I know are expected to fight. If somebody picks on you, you fight. If somebody hits you, you hit them back. That's the way, I don't know, Generation X, we grew up. I remember the movie Christmas Story. Didn't little Ralphie beat up the bully? And that, it's part of our heritage. It's part of our life. And I've always heard about guys saying, like in their 30s or 40s, how they've never been in a fight, or they've never been in a fight in their life. And I don't think they're wimps. I kind of feel sorry for them, because I know what that kind of fear is like. I had one friend, this was my best friend all through high school, and my best friend, and he was a self-proclaimed pacifist, one of the smartest guys in school, and his father raised him to not hurt anybody. And I hated him for this. I did. I don't know. I didn't understand it, first of all. And second of all, we were like 13, 14, 15. I knew that if I got in a scrap, and I got in a lot of scraps, that he wouldn't have my back, that he would just run away or stand there and watch me get the hell beat out of me. And I kind of hated him for that. I don't know where he is or what he's doing now, but okay, so like I said, we were raised to fight. My father taught me to box. I was getting in fights. Like I said, I don't know if it was because I was tall or what. I remember third grade, me and this other kid, I think it was first grade, me and this other kid were sliding on a railing, and we started pushing each other, and I ended up flipping over the railing, and I landed on the cement. I got 3 stitches right here. That was in first grade. I was getting in fights on a regular basis. Yeah, and I'm tall. I was 6'4" back then, and I wouldn't back down. And I always froze up when it got to the point where I'd be face to face with somebody. This is why I tell you guys now, don't talk smack. Don't just go up to somebody and push and say, oh, you got a problem, no, you got a problem. Because that's what I used to do. It would get up to that point, and I did not have what it took to actually punch somebody in the face. Like Mike Tyson says, everybody got a plan until they get punched in the face. And man, I know that's true. So I remember being on roller skates at a skating rink, 15 years old. This is right before I actually did punch somebody in the face. This guy, I didn't know at the time, but he was a black belt. Jakey Miller from a gang in Town Plot, Waterbury. And he bumps into me, I bump into him in the roller rink, and they give him a dirty look. How dare you bump into me, man? My Sharona's playing. My Sharona. So I'm all cool. And I go up to the dude, and I walk up to him, and I start talking smack, I'm giving him the eye, the stink eye. And the dude just hauls off and punches me in the face. And he punches me like a real punch, where he takes it from the shoulder, a karate punch. He broke the bone under my eye, my nose, my roller skates. My feet flew up in the air. I landed on my back. And broke my nose. And it gets even stupider. Like I said, I was cocky. I still didn't have the guts to punch somebody in the face. So I go off the roller rink, and my friends are all looking at my broken nose. Dude, your nose is twisted. Your nose is crooked. And I'm mad. I'm still playing the role of tough guy. I'm like, where is he? Where is he? I put my boots on, and my friends are trying to talk me out of it. Your nose is all busted up. And I chase him out. I chase him out the door. They're steel doors. You can't see outside. And I run out the two steel doors. And I run into a half circle of him and like 5 of his buddies in a half circle waiting for me right outside the door. And I give myself credit, because I went down swinging. Not that I hit anybody. I'm just like this. And they beat the bejesus out of me. They actually take me to the hospital. Remember I told you about the guy, the bully on the ice pushing girls down? He was there. And this is the weird thing. He had respect for me from that incident where he knocked me down, where he punched me on the ice. He's the one that brought me to the hospital that night. He picked me up off the ground, threw me in a car, and brought me up to the hospital. It's weird, man, how guys handle fights. So not too long after that, I bought my first car. I'm 15 years old. It was a 1975 Dodge Charger. It looked like a Cordoba. I had like 6 paper routes. I saved up money and bought it for $2,000. I was one of the first guys driving to school. I think it was freshman year. A lot of the guys are still taking the bus. I drive by the school bus in my car. I'm barely 16 years old. And I drive by the school bus kind of laughing at the guys on the bus. And one of them leans out the window, puts his face in the little crack in the window, and spits on my car. So I'm livid. I follow the school bus. I wait. I know where this guy's getting off. I wait for him to get off. I grab him. I throw him up against the side of the school bus. Everybody on the school bus now is all looking out the windows. And I throw him up against the side of the school bus. And he starts swinging. He's one of those guys that always went for kicking in the ball, so I don't know why. So he came at me, trying to kick me in the crotch. I never done that. That's one thing, I've popped people's eardrums, I've punched people in the throat, I've kicked people's kneecaps out, but I've never kicked somebody in the crotch. Okay? And I just hauled off and punched him in the face. First time I ever punched somebody in the face. And I was freaking amazed. It wasn't like TV, where they go, ow, ooh, that hurt my hand. I didn't even feel it. I didn't even know that I actually hit him. My hands were numb. I just saw his head go back like that. And he flew backwards, landed on his back. And I'm like, oh my, that I couldn't have possibly did that. I have very long arms. I've learned since. I've got extremely long reach. And, I forgot to mention, I did take karate lessons after my nose was broke there in the skating rink. So I knew how to punch too. And it broke his nose. The whole school bus watching, he was crying. You broke my nose, man. Crying. And I still felt bad for him. Even though he spit on my car. Okay. Here's the thing. So since then, I've gotten in a lot of fights. It came easy to me. After that first time, this is the scary thing. I didn't even think about it. Before I knew it, I would just see myself hitting somebody. A few words and bam, I'd punch somebody in the face. And usually they go down, like I said, because of my reach. And it wasn't a good thing. So, here's the thing. People remember that. And that guy came back, that guy from the school bus. They broke his nose. I was having a party about 10 years later. And I was out in front of my house and I was talking. Him and a bunch of friends jump out of the car. They come running up at me, and I'll be damned, he tries to kick me in the balls again. And his buddies didn't jump in. And I hauled off and punched him in the face. And I broke his nose again, second time. And how's that? Here's the thing that's not good about this. Being a recovering addict, I don't like that loss of control. Like I had a hard time once I got clean and sober. It was hard for me to deal because you're numb. I was numb for decades. You know, I didn't feel my emotions. And then once I got clean and sober, I would get angry at the drop of a hat. I would start crying at the drop of a hat. You know, and it was hard for me to control my emotions, to feel again. And, you know, I don't want to do that. There's times I have to. And here's the thing that nobody talks about. People remember that. I still remember that guy. I still look him up on Facebook. Jakey Miller, the guy that broke my nose when I was 15 years old. People hold grudges, you know, and the dozens of people that I beat up or punched in the face in the last 30, 40 years, they remember me. I never know, you know, when I wouldn't even recognize somebody coming up to me. Hey, how you doing? Remember me? Bap. You know, people remember. And it's a weight. You know, I don't feel good. I don't feel good about it at all. Now, I think it takes a lot more self-control to avoid it. But there's just times, like I said in the last video, where there's some people that if you back down, you give an inch, they take a mile. You know, there's a lot of times that if you try to reason with somebody, they're going to think you're weak. And they're going to take full advantage of it, you know, and there's just times where, unfortunately, you can't back down, and that's times when you have to hit somebody, you know, and it sucks. It's you know, it's not easy being a man. It's really not. All right, I guess that covers it for now. There's one other thing I wanted to say, but I might as well, I wasn't sure if I was going to say it. A lot of those guys that were bullies that I got hit in the face, you know, I got punched in the face before I actually started punching back when I was 15, all through elementary school. A lot of those guys I sat with and talked later in bars, like when I was using and drinking. And I found out a lot of those bullies were getting beat up at home. Not all of them, but a lot of them had like alcoholic fathers that would pound on them at home. And consequently, they go to school and pound on kids. I mean, seriously, I mean, it sounds cliche or something, but I mean, I found it to be true, really. You know, so there was a time when I actually kind of envied those bullies for being so tough, you know, for just being able to haul off and punch somebody in the face, like, you know, like what's his name did, Ralphie did in Christmas Story. But, you know, later I learned that a lot of these guys had a lot of anger and a lot of pain in them from getting beat up at home, you know. You know, it is what it is. All right, I hope you enjoyed the video. I could talk about this for hours. Let me know if you like this video. Let me know if you've ever been in a fist fight. Let me know if you've never been in a fist fight. Have a good Sunday.